Hello you guys and welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. Today I'm going to be doing a top MLM fails with MLM fails that y'all have sent to me. So if you would like me to react to something that you have seen online or anything like that, make sure to screenshot it, record it, and send it over to my email. I will leave that email down below where you could send your MLM fails to me and then I will react to them here on my channel. It has been, I think, 3 or 4 months since I have done just an overall MLM fails of things that y'all have sent me. So I'm very excited for today's video. So I thought I would start off with kind of, I don't know if I would call this a fail, but I did post it on my community tab of an MLM that actually is shutting down their MLM aspect of their company. And I thought that we would read what they put on their Instagram and kind of talk about it. There are also some comments that I would like to talk about with this company. So the MLM is called Maverick the Collection. They put out a statement on April 17th stating that they will be closing down again the MLM aspect of their business. So let's read this statement. It states, update. After months of review and a deep look into our current MLM business at Maverick the Collection, it is with a heavy heart that I announce that this aspect of the business is closing. I've spent endless hours reviewing the business structure, compensation plan, finances, and overall success. And after 4 years of pouring my absolute everything into the MLM, it is just not sustainable any longer. So I want to kind of emphasize this part of this statement where she says that the MLM model isn't sustainable for her anymore as the CEO of this company. So I do agree with her that I do not think that MLMs are sustainable. I think that MLMs as a business model are extremely unsustainable, but most importantly for the MLM reps themselves, it is really difficult to get up in a company. It's really difficult to make a livable wage or a side income in a company. They're just an unsustainable business model. And it's interesting to see a CEO state that on her end, it was also unsustainable. When it comes to their reps, there is just never going to be enough people in the world that you can get to join. Now, when it comes to MLMs, we've already seen that whole diagram. I talk about it a lot in my videos, the diagram that showcases that if you were to recruit 6 people and all 6 of those people were to recruit 6 people and it continues to go down in the system, you can only get 13 levels down before recruiting the whole entire world's population. So it is statistically proven that most people will not be able to make it in the company because of the type of business structure that the MLM is. Let's continue. She says, I know to most this comes as a shock, but to the people who have been by my side and working closely with me for the last year know how hard it has been for us to keep this aspect of the business going. Again, they're unsustainable, that's why. For the last few months, I have dove into opening and operating our new boutique. This little store has re-sparked my fire and passion for this industry, and I am beyond excited and motivated for what doors this will open. I am so incredibly, and I think this was a mistake on her end, but she says, I am so incredibly for the 4 years we had together in the MLM space. So I'm assuming she meant like she's incredibly thankful for the 4 years that they've had in the MLM space. She stated, I've learned so much about myself, about business, had the best time of my life, made incredible friends, and traveled to beautiful places with beautiful people. I appreciate the people who have stood by me and this company and who have called Maverick home for years. Our next chapter includes a wholesale website with 400 styles for any boutique owners to purchase and opening numerous Maverick boutiques with the ultimate goal to franchise. I want to truly thank all of you for being here and supporting me over the years. This is just the beginning though. And then her description of this post states, drumroll please, the announcement. So many changes happening and I am grateful for the last 4 years, but excited of what's to come. New wholesale website available for any boutique owners to purchase. Comment wholesale for the link. So reading this statement, I am so happy to see this MLM close because I do think that some of these companies that are MLMs could be successful if they did not just have the MLM aspect a part of it. And I think that her company could possibly see that success without the MLM model being connected with the company. I am also happy to see that no more individuals are going to be roped into a system meant to make them fail. I'm also happy to see where the CEO can take this company, and I hope to see her succeed outside of doing the MLM model. But with that being said, I think that when we see MLMs close, it's a great thing to see MLMs close or the MLM aspect to close because we know what MLMs do to individuals. We know the system and we know that the business model is flawed. But I think that this proves time and time again that people who are in MLMs MLMs will never own their own business. And I know we just reacted to that WFAB call that was really big, and they were really crapping on influencers because they said they're not their own business owner, and that when you're in an MLM, you're an entrepreneur and that's what you are. But I feel like this showcases and emphasizes the fact that no, you are not a business owner and you're not an entrepreneur when you join an MLM. You can't compare MLMs to owning your own business or even comparing it to something like influencer marketing. And this proves, seeing MLMs shut down time after time, it proves that in any point in time, your MLM can be shut down. Your MLM can be shut down because maybe they don't see it profitable anymore. It can be shut down by the FTC for being a pyramid scheme if they go to court and they state that it is, and they find proof that it's acting as a pyramid scheme. Or your company could just not be profitable for the, CEOs, and they can decide to shut the MLM aspect down or the company down in general. And it just really makes me think about all of those people who have quit their jobs, had their spouses quit their jobs, and spent years of their time and energy and money investing into a company that could shut down at any moment. And it just shows how instant something like an MLM can be taken from you. And I have seen top leaders, not just with this MLM, but in big MLMs like Monat and, Beachbody. I've seen people have their spouses quit their jobs. They've quit their jobs and their spouses have, watched the kids at home, and they've been the sole provider. And imagine if that company decided to close the MLM aspect, you're losing all of that. You and your spouse have no job, no stability, nothing to really back yourself up anymore because you were never an entrepreneur owning your own business. And I think that MLMs closing really prove this aspect. They also prove that MLMs aren't sustainable for the CEO or for the MLM rep itself. And I really think that it just proves that MLMs can be taken from you if you think that that is your business and you're going to have it for forever, and you think you're a CEO or an entrepreneur. You really aren't. It is up to the actual CEO of the company what they want to do with their company, and they may decide one day to never involve you in the company ever again. So I think it's really important for the people who are top leaders in the company to realize this and to recognize that their MLM can be taken from them at any point in time. So now I wanted to go to the comments. There were two comments that I really wanted to emphasize that I seen. And the first comment said, "Wow, I'm so glad I didn't join, but if you ever open a store here in Nashville or Franklin, Tennessee, I'd love to work there. I'm not an MLM fan, which is why I hesitated." And Maverick the Collection responded and said, "I still wish you joined, but yeah, we can chat about Tennessee." So first off, I am glad that this person did not join the company either. And I'm glad that she has stated that MLMs aren't something that she's really interested in, and that she is interested in the company and maybe buying the products or even working for a franchise of the company one day if it presents itself. But I found it interesting that the CEO hoped that this girl still would have joined, when at the end of the day, this girl would have lost money and time with the MLM now closing. So I think that it shows, and in my opinion, I think that it shows that this company always cared more about profit than the actual reps who joined them, because you wouldn't want to hope that all of these people did join you, because at the end of the day, it would have just been them losing out on money and time that they put into that MLM. The other comment that I seen was one that is now deleted. So she is deleting comments that are talking about the MLM industry, people who are commenting maybe saying that they don't agree with MLMs, or they think that they're toxic, predatory, they fail to work, that the business structure is flawed. She's deleting all of those comments and only keeping the positive ones that are like, "Yes, go girl, I'm excited, that you're doing something else. I'm happy for you." She's only keeping those comments because this comment that I'm about to show you is now deleted. When I went back to the post to screenshot everything for this MLM fails video, I seen that this comment was deleted. So I'm glad that I did screenshot it when I did. So a girl commented and said, "Ooh, and now I will be purchasing. Thanks for getting out of this toxic, predatory industry." And Maverick the Collection decided to respond and say, "I 100% do not agree with this statement. My reasons for backing away from the MLM industry have nothing to do with this. I will forever stand behind this community when it is conducted correctly." So in my opinion, I don't think that there's a way to properly conduct an MLM correctly at all. I think that the MLM business model is flawed. I think that the business model is set up to make people fail. And I think that based on what the FTC has said with the whole aspect that no matter how hard you work in MLMs, most people will make little money or no money. Some people will lose money. Just with that statement alone, it shows that MLMs are flawed. And the facts about MLMs show that they're flawed. Things like income disclosure statements, personal studies, or even what the FTC's website says about MLM shows that they are flawed. So I don't think there's a way to do an MLM correctly when the business model itself is the root of the issue. But at the core of this, it's interesting for me to see that this CEO and this company still finds nothing wrong with the fact that their company was once an MLM. She finds nothing wrong with the business model itself, but instead, since it just didn't work for her, she still backs the MLM business model and companies like MLMs in general. So again, she has deleted a lot of these comments, including this one right here. So if you go back, you're not going to be able to see it at all. But kind of my concluding thoughts on the MLM closing is I do hope to see more MLMs close in the future. I do hope to see CEOs that are in MLM companies, I hope to see them, back away from it. And I hope to see people like her that are backing away from a predatory business model. I do hope to see her succeed in her future endeavor with this company now that she is taking away the MLM business model aspect of it. But I do hope to also see these CEOs stand up and realize the issues with what the business model was to begin with. Let me know your thoughts on that. I will make sure as I continue with this MLM Fails series to add MLMs that are being shut down. I also seen another person saying Tupperware is going bankrupt. So if you guys have any information on that, definitely make sure to let me know. But yeah, let me know if you want me to continue talking about kind of MLM companies shutting down in future MLM fails. But let's move on to MLM fail number 2. This is going to be an Instagram reel. So I'm going to play the video. And those of you guys who are not watching the video, I will explain it. So this one doesn't have music on it, this Instagram reel, but it does have a sound. And on the screen it states, not wanting to try Monat because it's an MLM is not a product or business model problem. It's an ego problem. And this is the video.
From a disorder where I tell the truth and it pisses people off.
So the sound says, I suffer from a disorder where I tell the truth. And she's trying to say that MLMs aren't an issue because of the products or the business model. It's an ego problem if you're someone that doesn't want to join. And then the description says, I was stuck in my ego too for 2 whole years until I finally got to the point where I didn't have anything to lose because my hair was so bad and I was at a loss on what to do. Needless to say, putting my ego aside for fear of what others would say was the best decision I made for my hair and for my confidence. DM me if you're ready to say yes to better hair. And then she has hashtags that say hashtag scalp health, hashtag healthy hair, hashtag damaged hair tips, hashtag long hair, hashtag hair transformation. So she is trying to sit here and say that it's an ego problem if you don't want to try Monat. Just because, and this is my opinion, just because someone does not want to join your MLM does not mean that they have an ego problem. People don't want to join your MLM because the business model is set up for people to not make money and to fail. People also don't want to join because they can see the manipulation that is at play with these MLM. People can see so much manipulation that you can literally put side by side a cult and an MLM, and you can compare the MLM company to a cult because of what is actually happening in the company and how much manipulation is at play. People also don't want to join because they know that the company is an endless cycle of how many people can I recruit, how many recruits can recruit, and recruits can recruit. It's an endless cycle of that. That's never going to end. You're constantly on a cycle, like a hamster on a hamster wheel, trying to get people to join your company. So for most people, they don't want to be unfulfilled financially, mentally, and emotionally. That's why they don't join your company. So we shouldn't call it an ego problem. We should break down why people don't want to join MLMs. And hopefully that can lead people to realizing the truth about MLMs and maybe lead people like MLM reps to actually dig into the company and realize the issues that are at play when it comes to their company. And in my opinion, MLMs are scam companies that utilize manipulation and deceptive practices to real and innocent people who are in vulnerable positions. That is what is happening in MLMs. I think that they are really manipulative. I think that they are deceptive and they really reel in people who are in very vulnerable positions in life. And I don't think it's an ego problem at all. And it's very weird to see someone try and say that you're not joining because it's an ego problem. It has nothing to do with ego. So now let's move on to a Plexus video. Now this is around a 2-minute video and it is under someone's highlights. So if you ever are going onto Instagram, people can have highlights on their Instagram page, and this highlights is under something that's called What's Plexus. So she's explaining what Plexus is in this Instagram stories series. So let's hear what she has to say.
Gut health. Now gut health, if you haven't heard of this, it is the foundation of our health. And so that's why when you hear different like Plexus testimonies, they're also very different. My friend struggles with things that I didn't struggle with, and she couldn't relate to me because our symptoms were totally different. But when we targeted our gut health, when we worked on our gut health, everything kind of balanced out. And so that's why everyone's testimony is like a little bit different. But it's when we work on that foundational health, that's when our body is back into balance and can truly thrive. And I've been reading this book about hormones, and it's just so interesting. It's kind of over my head, but it's really interesting how she talks about how our body is all connected and it works together. And so if you're struggling with energy, or you have crazy sugar cravings, or you have migraines all the time, it's connected to something. Like, it's not just happening. It's not its own problem, but it's connected to, it just means that there's something wrong somewhere else in your body. And when you work on your gut health, that foundational health, your hormones start balancing out, your blood sugar balances out, and slowly everything kind of balances out, and you can truly thrive and feel amazing. So I just thought that was so interesting, and that's why, and Plexus is all scientifically backed up. And
okay, so next in the slides, she shows a screenshot of the products that she's taking. So she says, this is what I take every morning. So there's a pill. It says that it's Plexus Ease. There's also something called the X Factor, and then there's 2 packets. One says it's collagen, and one says it's active. So I'm assuming like a pre-workout. So she says that it fights inflammation, boosts immune system, clean lasting energy, all the nutrients I need in a day, hair, skin, and nail support. And then if we keep going, there is more slides. So she has a screenshot of Active, which is a product, she says, that energizes your brain and body. So she shows what the company puts on their website for kind of like the claims that they make. And she wrote on the screen, I take half a packet every morning. You won't need coffee if you take this. Also, you get a bag for free if you make a combo purchase before the 15th. So then if we continue, there's a screenshot of their collagen, which she says that she mixes in with her Active or coffee if she's drinking some. She also showcases the X Factor Plus, which she says she's been taking this every single day since she got pregnant. And then she said that she takes something called Ease, which she takes 1 to 2 a day. And then she states that she also takes, oh my gosh, she takes a lot of products. She states that she takes the greens, the X Factor for kids. So she gives her kids this product. And then she also states that she takes their whey protein. And then she has a link that says, feel free to check it out and let me know if you have any questions. If you're concerned about the prices, let me know and I'll help you get the products you need with your budget. So I do think that this individual teeters the line of medical claims, but I do want to mention that it's not a medical claim if she copy and pastes what the website says. So most of what she was actually posting when she showed screenshots of things, so when she showed a screenshot of, for example, like the Active product, she screenshotted what the website says about the Active product and wrote word for word what they said. So MLM reps are allowed to put that in, but what becomes the issue is adding those added things on top of it. So when she talked about the one product she uses when pregnant, it kind of will insinuate the fact that people should utilize it when pregnant, or what she was kind of talking about in the beginning. So in the beginning, she says that if you're struggling with energy or with migraines, it has to be connected to something. So I do agree that there's always a reason why something's happening to your body, but I do think that it's up to your doctor or your specialized doctor. For example, for migraines, that would be a neurologist. I really do think that it is up to you and them to work together to figure out what's wrong. It's not up to MLM reps on the internet selling you pills, greens, powder, collagen, and whey protein to tell you that it can help with things like your migraines or your energy. She also stated that when you work on your gut health, your blood sugar balances out, your hormones balance out, and slowly everything balances so you can truly thrive. Now, clearly she's insinuating the fact that her company Plexus is all about gut health and that they could help you with your gut health. So she's trying to say that and insinuate the fact that if you use the products that she's talking about, it can help you with your gut health. So it's going to help you with balancing your blood sugar out or balancing your hormones or helping you with your migraines and energy and stuff like that. And that's where MLM reps really do teeter the line of having income claims. You should not be mentioning anything about blood sugar or leveling that out or hormone balance when it comes to your products. Nothing like a greens powder and some pills that your company has made that's not even approved by actual science, in my opinion, is going to help people out. So I do think that that is the issue that these reps are having. They're not just sticking to what the company says. They're not sticking to what their website says about the product. They're going off and talking about things like your blood sugar hormones when their whey protein isn't going to help with that. She also at the end decided to say that Plexus is all scientifically backed. I want to see the studies. I want to see the studies that have been done on Plexus's specific products. I don't want to see Plexus state, oh, we have this ingredient in our collagen and that ingredient has been studied and proves this. No, I want to see your product, all of the ingredients that your product has. I want to see that product scientifically backed and studied if you, Plexus, are going to have your rep saying that they are scientifically backed. I also decided to do further research into this, and I could not find any link on the Plexus website, and please tell me if I'm wrong, but I couldn't find any link that showcased actual studies, like scientific studies that have been done that backs Plexus's actual products. And even if you look at the products that they have, if you look at the bottom, you would have to scroll all the way down. At the bottom, in very small print, most of their products even say, these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So if you guys don't already know, supplements in the United States are not backed by the FDA. They don't have to be backed by the FDA. And that's why I'm very interested to see the actual science and where the study is at for Plexus's products in general, seeing that their product has been studied by multiple different third-party sources. That's what I want to see. So I think that it's important for individuals to really read the company's website. Do not just listen to MLM reps who are posting posts like this, because if you read the actual website and you look at everything and you go to the bottom and you read the details and overview and nutrition and you look at the actual nutrition label and you read the bottom of the fine print at the bottom of the page, you're going to see things that you would not have been told otherwise. I also decided on top of that to live chat Plexus. So I went on their website and they have a live chat where you can live chat an individual, and I asked for them to send me studies. So I requested actual studies that back their product. And I specifically were talking about the greens because I was like, let me just choose a random product that she had like talked about or put in this story. And she specifically talked about their greens product. So I asked the individual, I was like, can you show me the scientifically backed studies about the greens products? So they sent me this link, and literally all this link has is something, it says Plexus Green. There's a product sheet link and a label nutrition link. So it talks about what sets Plexus Greens apart. So it talks about, you know, how many calories are in it, there's no added sugars, etc. Then they talk about on this website who should use their greens. And then they talk about key benefits and features. They also have greens and fruit vegetable nutrition aspect of it. And then they talk about how to use their greens. And then at the bottom, they say these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product isn't intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases. So again, even when I ask the company itself, they don't show me any studies. They just send me to a weird link that tells me essentially how they are set apart from their competitors, who should use the product, and the benefits of the greens. That doesn't show me the studies that are actually happening with the company. So again, Plexus reps cannot sit here and try and connect things like migraines and hormone imbalances and blood sugar imbalances on their Plexus products, saying that it could help you do that. There's no proof that these products can help with your gut health or, again, with blood sugar or hormones or anything like that. But if you see posts like this where people are talking about that, they're saying that it can balance out your hormones, it can cure something like migraines, anything like that, please report it to the FTC, because these companies need to be held accountable for their reps saying this. And I know that even though their website says it doesn't cure or treat any disease or illness, I know that in these secret Zoom calls that are happening, you are hearing a lot of these people behind the scenes talk about how it can do that. And they're telling you to use these things as examples on your social media platforms. So I know at the end of the day that a lot of these companies are at fault for their reps saying stuff like this. So the last reel that we are going to go over before I go over 2 screenshots that were sent to me is an MLM reel that I can't actually play the volume for you, but I can just like play the video. So as you're watching this, it states, when people say they don't have time or money to start a business, that is exactly the reason they should. So the actual volume, like what it's saying, the song is saying that like, I'm confused. And it's saying that while She's making this reel. I can't sing or nothing, so I can't even replicate it. But it's pretty much just a sound that's saying, I'm confused. Like, I'm really confused. And then that's when she put up when people don't say they have time or money, that's why they need to join this business. And then let's read the description. The description says the reason you think you shouldn't is probably the reason you should. You can literally build a business in under 1 hour per day when you follow our simple and effective systems. Don't know what to say? Well, we'll tell you what to say. Don't know what to post? You will literally get free content for your posts, stories, and reels every day. And not big on social media and unsure of how to do those things, our system meets you where you are and helps you build your online presence before launching. Experienced or not, our system is simple and designed to help people from all walks of life succeed. She wrote, you have the time and you have the money. The question is, what are your priorities right now? Because if you can follow a simple step-by-step system to earning money, you, my friend, can do this business. How are you saying, like, if someone says they don't have the time and money, how are you saying that they do have the time and they do have the money and it's essentially just not priorities for them? When people say that they don't have the time and they don't have the money, that means they most likely don't have the time and they don't have the money to join your MLM, or I have seen this both ways. I've seen people say they don't have the time and money because they literally don't have the time and money. Or I've seen a lot of people say this when they do not want to join, but they don't want to make the rep feel bad. Like, they don't want to be like, no, I don't want to join your stupid MLM. Instead of saying that, they'll just be like, oh, I don't have the money right now. So they're kind of trying to shut the MLM rep down without being mean or kind of having any confrontation. Because a lot of the times when you say like, hey, I just really don't want to join your MLM, I'm not interested in multi-level marketing companies, there will end up being some sort of argument or the MLM rep trying to defend their MLM. And a lot of people aren't looking for that. They don't want to be told why you think your MLM is amazing. They just don't want to join it. And a simple way for them to say no is to just be like, hey, I really just don't have the time or money to join. And a lot of family members will actually say that. A lot of family members or friends that don't want to join your company, instead of trying to, talk about the MLM or have a riff in the relationship, they try and just say they don't have the time and money so that maybe, again, that you don't have a riff in your relationship as a friend or family member. So the easiest way for them to kind of let you off is being like, oh, I just don't have the time and money to join. So for those people who don't have the time and they don't have the money, you definitely should not join this MLM. Just because you don't have the time and money, that doesn't mean you should join. Like, she's trying to make it seem like she's trying to be like, oh, if you don't have the time and money, that's why you should join, because this MLM is going to give you money and it's going to give you more time. We already know it doesn't do that. We already see income disclosure statements that prove people don't make income. And she decided to say in her description that it only takes 1 hour per day to be successful in an MLM. So MLMs, based on my experience, take a lot of time. They take hours of your day, whether you're, sitting down all at one time, spending hours on the MLM, or whether you're doing that in pockets of your time. Having 1 hour will not even let you get on a team call. Team calls are an expectation. When you see any Zoom call that we talk about, you hear these reps saying team calls are an expectation. You need to be on these team calls. Those team calls last anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour. That's already an hour a day that you're putting into the MLM trying to be on these calls and learn more. So how are people actually supposed to get to the top of a company with 1 hour a day when these companies are literally proven for people to not make any money, even if they put hours into the company a day? So again, if you don't have the time and you don't have the money, that is another reason to not join a multi-level marketing company. It is not a reason to actually join one. So now let's go to another MLM fail. So there's a person on Instagram who sent me this, and it was kind of like a question box on Instagram. If you guys are familiar with that, people can ask you questions that are anonymous, so people won't see who's asking the question. So this individual wrote, ask me anything about Monat and the products and working with me. So someone wrote, how much can you actually earn in Monat? So she has a screenshot of a bunch of top reps in the company, and she put from left to right, you have a 15 MDC, 8 MDC, 6 MDC, 4 MDC, 5 MDC, and a 6 MDC. And she writes, blank just shared this, and it's a perfect example of the power of this business. Nobody is ever under anyone. Yes, you are. You're under someone. That's what an MLM is. You're recruiting people. You're kind of in a pyramid where if you're looking at it, you're under a bunch of people, and then what you do benefits the people above you financially. So yeah, you are under people. And then she also wrote, MDC means $1 million in commission earned, and the number in front is the amount. They have all been doing this business for 8 years or less. It's hard to think shampoo could ever earn you this much money, but once you know, the future is so exciting together. So I think that there's a big misconception with the $1 million club, so the MDC see when it comes to Monat. I also think it's extremely misleading to the average person that sees this Instagram post, mostly because the MDC club does not mean that you earned that much money in profit. For example, if someone says they are a 15 MDC, that means that they are in the $15 million club. That does not mean that they have made $15 million in profit in their MLM. What it means is that their team sold that much in sales. So that's why a lot of these people at the top who have hundreds, if not thousands of people in their downline are making it into this club, because it is based off what your team has sold or what your team has bought in the company. And if you look at Monat, you're going to see that you do have like PV requirements. So reps are spending $100 or more every single month on products to stay active, or they are selling that amount. So imagine having hundreds of people or thousands of people doing that for 8 years. Yeah, you're probably, if you're at the top of the company and you have hundreds and you have thousands of people under you, are going to see yourself selling that amount of money, whether it's $1 million or like this one person's in the $15 million club. I'd be curious to see how much money they have spent in the MLM. I'd be curious to see where that's coming from. Are people just buying products and making you that sales commissions, or is it people selling products? How many people do you have in your downline? How many people are actually in the MLM versus how many people are making it to this point? And I think that people in the MLM fail to showcase all of those aspects that can be very misleading. So let me know what you guys think of the MDC club. I do think that it's extremely misleading because they never actually sit and explain to people what the MDC club actually means. Next, somebody asked, how much do you pay? I want to do it, but I'm afraid I won't have the time. She responded, you don't pay anything to get started. You just need your own personal products. And then in parentheses say, they are $249 for a ton of products one time. It even comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. After that, everything you earn is commissions earned with no monthly fees or payments. Yep, it's that good. No, it is not that good. It is not as good as they are trying to make it sound to you. And also, she just said you don't have to spend money, but you do have to spend $249. So which one is it? You're contradicting yourself just in the post that you wrote. For her to also say that there are no monthly fees is honestly just not being truthful to the people that are following her. I have broken down the Monat comp plan in the past, and if you do decide to break it down or look at it, I will link it down below. You will see that it showcases that you need more than one thing. You have more than one qualification needed in order to maintain your rank and move up in the company. So the first thing that you need is personal volume. So personal volume starts at 200 PV, going up to 500 PV, depending on what your rank is. So you can earn PV off of your own orders that you have purchased or what customers have ordered. So every single month you're having to hit that requirement. So you have that requirement of 200 to 500 PV. So what happens when you can't sell every single month consistently? You can't sell 200 to 500 PV worth of product a month. That means you have to purchase that remaining amount. So for example, say that this month of April, you only sold one product and that product was worth $50, so it was 50 PV. You are still going to owe Monat 150 PV to 450 PV in order to maintain the rank that you're at, in order to maintain the status that you are currently at. So you're going to have to take the money that you've earned, if you've even earned any money, if you've earned commissions, you're going to have to take that money and put it back into Monat, into the company that you're spending money on in order to be a part of, in order to maintain the rank that you're at. So in my opinion, you're going to have monthly fees and costs that are assigned to you. Most people aren't able to consistently sell $200 to $500 worth of products every single month in order to maintain the rank that they are at and have this PV requirement. On top of that, in order to continuously rank up in Monat, you're actually going to need people in your downline. So Monat's comp plan shows that in order to continuously rank up in the company, you're going to need 2 or more people in your downline that is also buying that PV every single month. On top of that, you're going to need to have what they call GV, which is a specific amount of volume that your team earns. So on top of you having PV, on top of you having to recruit people into your MLM that are also maintaining that PV and that rank, you're also going to need GV. So you're going to need your team to buy product and sell product in order to have group volume or team volume. So there are a lot of requirements that are involved in this MLM. You're going to end up in Monat being in a position where you're going to have to convince your own downline to invest their money every single month and continuously put them in the position to buy $200 to $500 worth of products or sell that amount. So based on Monat's comp plan, it is a constant cycle of monthly fees, requirements and qualifications needed to continue in the MLM. So when she said there's no monthly fees, there's no monthly qualifications, I don't think that she's being 100% truthful in that. With that being said, that is going to be the end of today's MLM fails. Again, if you would like me to react to the MLM fails that you have seen, make sure to send those to my email. And I also want to thank you all for watching today's video. I have missed doing this series where we kind of just add a bunch of random stuff that has been happening in the MLM world and talking about it in one video. I do love doing that. So again, let me know what you guys thought of today's video. Let me know if you want me to continuously talk about these MLM companies that are going bankrupt or shutting down. I can start adding that to my top fails series in order to be able to talk about this instead of just posting it on a community tab. A lot of people don't see the community tab or not able to read that, or maybe it doesn't post up on your feed. So a lot of people, even if they keep up with all of my videos, may not see what's happening in the community tab. So I definitely want to know if you guys want me to start adding that in these MLM fails so that you guys could be kind of kept in the loop when it comes to MLMs that are shutting down. So with that being said, what emoji are we gonna leave down below? Leave a donut emoji in the comments down below. I love donuts. I am allergic to gluten though, and I became allergic back in 2017, and donuts are my weakness. If I see a donut, you know, every 3 years I will risk my body for that donut because donuts are just so good. Now I'm gonna crave a donut, watch. So that being said, don't forget to leave a like and a comment and a donut in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. If I cannot choke to death, delete that. No. Oh my god, I'm so tongue twisted today that so if you would, and I believe that now really just want, it has shown, delete that, so much manipulation that you can pair, oh my god, that you can pair, oh my god, just tongue twisted and I can't help it. Bye. Bye.